Good evening. It's another Tuesday news day. I'm Adventure Argonaut. This is the golden news. Before I start with the news and current events, let's see that the streams are working. 1, 2, and how about 3? No, of course, Rumble. It's not working yet. Okay, let's play around with it. Always have to do something. Okay, how about now? Yes, I do believe the streams are working. Okay. Let's get to business. First, alas, this is not beer, it's just soda. So, there's ADL is criticizing Steam versus ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. So Steam is a bad boy apparently, since the Anti-Defamation League has some problems with them. So let's have a look. PC gamers, Steam accused of normalizing hate and extremism in the gaming community in new ADL report. The Anti-Defamation League says it's found millions of examples of extremist and hateful content on the platform. So let's see what's the hateful content. Here is top extremist or hateful symbols on Steam. So 54% is Pepe the Frog. That's a hateful symbol now. And okay, it just means it's okay. So it's 54% of so-called hateful symbols they found, and it's like I guess 544,000 blah blah blah. That's how many evil Pepes they found. Like, is this a joke? And then there's swastika, like, because I wondered about this. Like, I don't know, can you even use like a swastika as your avatar or something, or on Steam, or like what context did they get all this stuff? And then there's Triskelion. Triskelion is an old Celtic symbol. Why is that like hate symbol? It's just European heritage. Well, swastika is heritage of the world. Like, you know, pretty much every continent has used swastika for thousands of years. Like, I can understand because of, you know, what Germans did 80 years ago. Like, now that, you know, people don't like it, but so that's at least understandable. But how the fuck is a Triskelion a hate symbol? Or Walknut, some, you know, Norse thingy. Confederate flag. Hey, I stand with Dixie, okay? South will rise again. And Celtic cross. It's like, yeah, Christianity is hate according to ADL, I guess. ISIS flag. Is it hate? Like, you can say it's supporting terrorism, but isn't ISIS, you know, operated by Mossad anyways? Holocaust Star of David badge. Auschwitz Gate. I don't know, is it like a game? The Auschwitz Gate is like Baldur's Gate and Auschwitz Gate. Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Yeah, so, no surprise that they would, you know, think pro-Palestinian or pro Muslim stuff would be hate. That if it's ADL, like, I don't know, this is a joke. Unless, you know, unless they get Steam to capitulate, then it's not so funny anymore. But I don't know even what they're asking for. And here's another. I'm not sure, like, because this seems like more legit. I don't know if this is like a real, but at least like real list of their hate words or whatever. Well, yeah, this is symbols. This is not words as much, and this is bad words, I guess. So yeah, 1488, Juden. It's just, hey, Agent Double Hertz. Juden, it just means Jews in German, right? I don't speak German, so and right, Nazi, but isn't identifying Nazis, isn't that like a good thing according to ADL? And of course, there's the N word and Goyim. This is what Jews call all non-Jews, right? Gentiles. Why is it bad? And it doesn't say what context. Like NSDAP is like the national German National Socialist Party. Like if you play a war game, some first-person shooter against Axis and allies, this might be there. Or like I don't know, you play the sniper game. I don't remember which. There's those World War II sniper games where you shoot Nazis and stuff. And let's say if Himmler is one of the bosses there, is that bad according to these people? Like, why is Auschwitz like? I thought they wanted you to know all about Auschwitz. ADL. Why is it? Why is that a hateful word now suddenly? Like, I don't really understand. Totenkopf just means skull, so yeah, you are right, Agent Double Hertz. Like, this is just weird. And yeah, here it also there's news that Steam is an unsafe place for teens and young adults. U.S. Senator warns Gabe Newell of more intense scrutiny from the government if Valve doesn't take action against extremist content. Um, and here it says that sham ADL report, which came out recently, is being used in the U.S. Senate now to force more censorship. The chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee, which oversees the CIA, is using an ADL report to openly threaten Steam that it has to censor language keywords and accounts, reminding Steam that it is financially successful for now. So I guess it's this guy, Mark Warner, is a Democratic, is the governor of Virginia or what? Well, he's the chair of Senate Intelligence Committee, whatever. But it's like, okay, so did ADL start this? Like, the ADL and the US government or some part of US government are working against Steam now. And I'm gonna use the same argument I've used before because personally, I don't understand why the establishment is going against, gamers so hard because like, I would have thought, if you want more power and stuff and you don't want, for the establishment, you don't want normal people to rise up against you, then you should allow people to have their video games, so they play games, and instead of paying attention to politics and getting involved, but with Gamergate and Sweet Baby Inc. and stuff like this, it's sort of forcing gamers out of their comfort zones into the political sphere. So you're not letting them just sit in their own vacuum. They're forcing gamers to get active and fight against them, and I don't really understand why. Like, what does it make sense? But I came up with a theory today. Like maybe they have some supercomputer that simulates all sorts of potential threats to their establishment, and maybe they the supercomputer came up with a scenario that gamers will unify and take down the federal government of the United States or the whole Western establishment or something. And that's why they are trying to, that's why the gamers are dead articles came out, 10 years ago with Gamergate and stuff. Maybe that's the reason. But it sort of sounds like, King Herod killing all male babies or like newborn babies. Gamers unite, yeah. Like from the Bible, because the King Herod he heard like some prophecy or something, like some baby that was born is gonna topple him and get rid of his rule. So then he started killing all babies, hoping to kill that one baby that's gonna be a threat to him. And then it, of course, didn't go well for him and stuff. So this is how it sounds to me. But anyway, so yeah, ADL is a terrorist organization. That's my opinion. Let's move on to the next story. There's many stories to go through. So ADL bullies people on Twitter. So yeah, more ADL stuff. Um, so there's this guy, 1984. The ADL has doxed this guy. He's just some guy on Twitter who um, criticizes the establishment. I'm gonna say that. They call him an anti-Semitic ex-influencer, and Elon Musk has said that doxing people is a bannable offense, but still the ADL is not banned. So that tells you something about who's in charge of Twitter. And it's not that you may disagree with 1984 or have no idea who he is, but they shouldn't be doxing people, or if they dox people, then the rules should apply evenly. And here, um, this guy explains that the ADL appears to have used an alternative version of Pegasus software to dox his account. The Pegasus software is some malware. I think it's something to do with Israel, of course. That goes into your phone or something to dox you, get your personal data. And they also appear to have abused the trusted third-party contractor access via X, getting the metadata forensically analyzed but abusing our digital privacy rights in this way, and especially on this platform, is something Elon Musk mentioned he was fiercely against and is supposed to be against terms of service. The X files on this should be revealing. What should Elon Musk do about it? About this? Well, as far as I know, Elon Musk has done nothing so far about this. And now his 1994 says that his subscriptions have been deactivated, so nobody can subscribe it to him anymore. And here it says that the reason why they've been deactivated because he is under 18, according to this, because they get verified by subscribing to premium, get 500 followers, active in the past 30 days. These are all yes, but be at least 18 years old, and this is not checked. So according to Twitter X, this guy is not an adult yet. I assume this is wrong. I assume he is an adult, but it's clearly some shenanigans going on. And another thing about Twitter is this guy Jackson Hinkle. Now this guy, I think he sometimes says some stuff I agree with, but sometimes he's like I don't know, he's sort of attention whoring. I guess that's the nicest way of putting it. But anyways, he was supposedly suspended for posting "Long Live Sinwar," and this is of course the Hamas commander who was killed in combat a few weeks ago, and I think his account has been re-established already. Yeah, But still, if he was suspended for saying something like this, like once again, you can disagree or agree with the message or don't give a fuck either way, but this is very mild comment. This shouldn't be too controversial or anything like, or in a free speech platform. Like I can understand if you live in Israel, then yeah, sure, you can get in trouble. That's because they are basically in war. But Twitter is supposed to be somewhat neutral, at least pretend to be. And then this is not related to Twitter, but similar things. The actress Susan Sarandon reports she's been blacklisted in Hollywood after oh yeah, I cannot say this word, anti-Zisraeli remarks. Yeah, this is the next story. I'll explain it. So yeah, she's been at a pro-Palestine rally and stuff. So just to just that Jews hold no sway in Hollywood. That's clear. This demonstrates that it is a completely baseless anti-Semitic conspiracy theory to claim that Jews have any influence in Hollywood. Let's move on to the next story. So Twitch Semitisms. I do like this image that the AI generated for me. So new Twitch policy bans the word um, political ideology related to the hill of Zion. I do believe I can say the hill's name. It is the place in Holy Land. So yeah, this is you cannot. It is a political ideology. Like, why can't you refer to it? And like once again, we see that who holds absolutely no power at all in Western society, because they're just banning words like that. This is not supposed to be a insult. It's not like a slur. It's identifier. Like imagine banning Democrat or Republican or whatever. They are just political leanings of people. And yeah, and also over 10 major companies have reportedly suspending advertising on Twitch over alleged anti-Semitism concerns. Yeah, some people said, I think, that they lost like 95% of their Twitch advertising revenue. Like, I can gladly say that it has had zero effect on my income, though, since I don't get any money from Twitch or Kick or Rumble or YouTube. Okay. But yeah, since I cannot say this word, I will say Zisraeli. That's the new euphemism. Let's move on to the next story. So British tyranny. I didn't even make the title because the AI almost managed to do it. Oh yeah, and before I move on to this few stories, I want to show this because I just put the prompt something like British tyranny comes back, because I've done these British tyranny um, stories before, but it's like it's this famous painting from the French Revolution, so it's interesting it generated this sort of image. But anyways, let's get to the stories. So here it says somebody got 20 months in prison for saying, I don't want my money going to immigrants. Although I don't think, like, there are no community notes here saying that this is inaccurate, but I do think it's a bit inaccurate. There's this article Man who encouraged torching hotels for asylum seekers in Britain gets 3 years in prison. I do think it's this guy. A man who used social media to stoke racial hatred during far-right violence that erupted in Britain last week and encouraged people to torch hotels housing asylum seekers was sentenced Friday. Wait, this is August. Then is it the same? Wait. Let's. I do think it. I found this. No, no, no. Okay, I'm sorry. I screwed up somehow. I got the wrong article. Maybe I copied the wrong stuff then. Then maybe this. Okay, I'm gonna take back because let's just listen to the charge. I assume it's an actual charge, not an like actor on
Went on to
TV.
say that you did not want your money going to immigrants who, quote, rape our kids and get priority, end quote. This offence is so serious that an immediate custodial sentence is unavoidable. Would you stand, please? The sentence that I pass has been reduced by 1/3 to reflect your guilty plea. The sentence is one of 20 months imprisonment. Went on to say
So it is possible because it sort of looks like a part of the video was edited. That there might be that he has done something else, but of course, if what he said um, is true that only he said that those things about immigrants, then it's of course it's complete tyranny. There's no way around it. Like you can disagree with the man. You can say he's a hateful bigot or and delusional or whatever. You're free to say that, in my opinion. But in no sane country would send you to prison for something like that. And okay, then there's this story about the farmers. Farmers have hoarded land for too long. Inheritance tax will bring new life to rural Britain. So basically, no farmers, the people who produce the food, um, they are a problem. Somebody pointed out that the lefties, they really seem to hate the farmers, and is it like they want to meddle with the affair and it's gonna bring a famine, and it's like, yeah, that's probably what they want. Because I know that farming nowadays isn't that easy to be able to support yourself with all of that. And because I do assume they want either the government to have the land of the farmers or give it to multinational corporations. That's pretty much all it can mean. And yeah, here is and supposedly there was some protest with farmers. Farmers will block every road in Britain if Labour doesn't listen to them on November 19th. Ah, that's today. Claims lead organizer. The farmers are not messing about. That's good. That's what the French have been doing for a few years now. I think every now and then. So the Brits are learning from the French. Uh-huh. And then there's somebody saying, I don't even know what they're protesting in favor of, but they're farmers, so it's almost certainly a bad thing. The left is always hating anyone who is actually productive, and celebrating criminals will never not be funny. Well, I disagree. I don't think it's funny. I'm getting really tired of all this bullshit. Um, and then there's this picture encapsulates the current police state of the UK. Being offensive is an offense, and also there's a rainbow flag there. I don't know. It's like the guy has a walking stick or something, or maybe it's a beating stick for like people who are being offensive, or it looks like a band or something. Iceland. So Iceland is not an island in a country; it's actually some store or something. Now we know it was all a conspiracy. Yeah, I think there was still something. Oh yeah, this story. So this woman Rachel Halliwell is saying, "My son, who is 16, will be sentenced on the 3rd of December for the Southport riots. It's his first offense. His sister was groomed and raped and beaten at 12 in Southport. She killed herself after being failed by Merseyside Police, Sefton Council, Stanley High School, and KMHS. Not sure what that is, but some authorities. Her inquest starts 13 January. Her brother is going to prison." Yeah, like once again, there is no community note, so I'm gonna assume it's gonna be is true that she is not some random woman just making up stories. Um, yeah, so this is very this is tyranny, plain and simple. I'm gonna like uh, I have other stories from Europe, so maybe I'll give my opinion on Europe altogether. Like after that, so let's move on to where are we moving to? Germany. Okay, this image doesn't look tyrannical, but I just wrote German tyranny or something into the prompt and got this, and it looks actually quite comfy. So this kind of tyranny doesn't look so bad. Um, so yeah, here it says German politician Detlef Gürth was fined 18,000 euros for posting this. "We feed them migrants, they stab us." So yeah, he said that's this, and he was fined money to pay some fine. Although supposedly it's not entirely correct. And yes, Elon Musk also commented on this story, I believe. Yeah, he said yeah. So German politicians' comments about migrants on social media platform X made after an Afghan national committed a violent crime in a small German town led to a court-issued fine. The court's actions received criticism online, which caught the attention of billionaire and owner Elon Musk. So yeah, the issue here clearly is that the politician was not happy, expressed his discontent with the state of affairs, and that Elon Musk commented on it. Like that's not um, the Afghan national committing violent crimes. That's part and parcel, but you're not supposed to complain about it. Okay, just deal with it. It's like the rain. Like I'd really want somebody to see somebody go to jail because they complain about the rain, because this is clearly the same kind of natural phenomenon. There's nothing we can do about it. So yeah, let's just try to see what's the truth behind the story. So yes, the claim is the post on X states German politician Detlef Gürk was fined 18,000 euros for posting this. "We feed the migrants, they stab us. In the West, you are no longer allowed to say anything. Fact check false." The penalty for the member of the Christian Democratic Union was issued by the Ascherleben District Court not solely because of the cited sentence. The statement that Gürt had posted on X was no longer and made racist remarks about migrants. The Magdeburg Regional Court responsible for blah blah blah. The subject of the penalty order is not just one sentence, it is about overall impression of several sentences from the so-called tweet from this date. So what exactly did the post say? It's now deleted, but it said, "Good that the police shot this cowardly, devious Afghan. We feed them and then they murder innocent people. The pack must be removed from Germany." So yeah, you cannot support the police doing their job and killing violent criminals, or that removing other criminals before they commit crimes. That's bad. They are going to be penalized for it. Gut, dass die police then diesen Wegen, yeah, whatever. Yeah, so this is tyranny. Tyranny in England, tyranny in Germany, and tyranny in France. Now, who won the war? World War Two. Who fought against who again? I don't know because it doesn't seem to be, you know, make much difference. Okay, I have to first analyze these images because once again the prompt was something like French tyranny and pixel art for the when I generated this image, and you can see this is the famous painting. I don't remember, is it Rembrandt or whoever? And anyways, this painting. But look at that; it's actually looks like a guy holding the flag, and then the AI generated two more very similar, and it's in each. Well, here is a reptilian. This is even more like, dare I say, the Bing AI or whatever is, I forget the name of the AI, but yeah, it's Microsoft Bing. It's based on red pill clearly because when I say tyranny, it thinks of the French Revolution. So it merely clearly means that the French Revolution was tyrannical, not the regime that was toppled by the revolution. And yeah, and also that there are men dressing up as women who are actually reptilian shapes. I don't know. It's somehow sometimes I treat the AI image generation as a toy sort of, but it's funny. Sometimes it's funny. Okay. So yeah, French prosecutors seek a 2-year prison sentence and ineligibility period against Marine Le Pen. So yeah, so they want to send her to jail. Marine Le Pen, who almost became the French president in the previous presidential election, and so yeah, they want to put her in jail and also make her ineligible to run for office for the next 5 years. And the official reasoning is that she's being suspected of embezzlement of European Parliament funds. So there's some money that was supposed to go to the EU for European Union parliamentary aids, but supposedly her national party and its officials are like took the money for themselves or their staff, and well, yeah, they're being accused. Like, okay, if they are found guilty, then perhaps it makes sense, to send her to jail and whatever. But for now, she's supposedly innocent until proven guilty, right? But this reminds me of another presidential candidate in another other country that who was also shot and stuff, but he still won the election. But not sure if it's gonna work out the same way in France. And of course, I'm not gonna say that even if she manages to win somehow, that is necessarily gonna make things better. But I'm just saying the tactics they are using are sad, underhanded. Yeah. So let's talk about Europe. Um, Britain. These stories are from England, France, and Germany, and it's just tyranny. Okay, the French. Well, I guess it is quite tyrannical. Like, well, at least in this Marine Le Pen story, there's the possibility that she's actually guilty of this embezzlement. Maybe she is, um, but I have my doubts. But anyways, it sounds very tyrannical, and also in Germany, they talked about banning the political party AFD Alternative für Deutschland because it's just too far right and stuff. Far out, man. Um, I wanna take a look at these stories from England because they're the worst. This week. I mean, it's just so like it's not like this tyranny suddenly appeared. Like everybody was playing sports ball or something, and then it didn't appear like 2 weeks ago. Like everything was hunky dory, everything was perfect, and suddenly they're in tyranny. Like this was like personally, I started to notice it around 9/11 over 20 years ago. Yeah, when the Patriot Act was signed in America, and that was in America, but Europe clearly began to go in the same direction, even though, like, I guess you could say it's also more incompetent. And the European people didn't really do much about it. They're just like, oh well, like or when Bush started his crusades in the Middle East and stuff, and just to point out the two obvious points, like they Bush said, or was it Rumsfeld said that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, and that's why we have to go get Saddam. And then after Saddam was toppled and killed and stuff, and oops, didn't have any weapons of mass destruction. And then, of course, Afghanistan, they attacked Afghanistan and subjugated it for like 20 years until, last year when America had to escape Afghanistan with their tail between their legs, and now the Taliban is still in control. So, what was it all worth? Worth like what was it all up? But anyways, that's and well, most of Europe went along with it. Some countries sent troops to the Middle East, and some others just like didn't really do anything about the American aggression or anything. So it's like, well, this has not happened overnight either. Like this stuff. Well, okay, they are difficult concepts to verbalize, but like I remember when I was reading one Nietzsche book like a long time ago. Maybe it was Twilight of the Gods, not sure, but I recall when he Nietzsche described that Europe was getting too feminine. His books were written in the 19th century, like over 100 years ago, and back when I was reading the book, I was still somewhat left leaning in my politics, and I was like thinking like that's crazy talk. Like 100 years ago, the society was so hyper masculine, but now I'm starting to understand like Europe has been pussified for too long. Like they just go along with all of this bullshit without getting angry and getting out the guillotines or whatever. Except maybe there were a couple of countries 80 years ago or something that wanted to do something masculine, but they failed. Um, but just to note that this is the fault of the European people that Europe is in such an abject state of tyranny. And I'm not saying like, haha, that's how it should be. Like, no, I want to change things, but it's like you won't fix anything if you don't first start with your own. Look at yourself in the mirror and see what's wrong with you, and then you can start to change the outer world. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to the next story outside of Europe. Yeah, this is in Kiwiland or New Zealand. The Haka thing the politician did. Everybody's probably seen this. Yeah, yeah, it's loud. So okay, yeah, they are protesting this bill and doing a haka dance and stuff in the parliament in New Zealand, and it's like okay. First of all, I should point out that I do think that the behavior here is it's childish, and it seems a bit like acting, like it's calculated. Like this woman, I've just seen her do haka before. I think in the parliament. I think it was like a few months ago. It was all over Twitter for one day or something. Because she reminds me a bit of AOC, Alexandria Ocasio Cortez, and but still, there was lots of criticism about them, like, oh, and you stupid uh stupid Maori and all that stuff. And here is like, it points out that how many know what the Maori were actually protesting. This was an opposition to a bill by the Libertarian Party that declares all races have equal rights in New Zealand. So yeah, they don't want equal rights, they want to have some privileges. And uh, I just don't know if this sort of stuff will be effective. And also, there's some protest going on today, or happened today, I guess. Yeah, it's night already. Against the bill, but I just like I do think this is sort of childish and stuff, but it's like the vitriol that some people um, shelled against this performance is sort of it's I think it's like out of proportion because I think people should really be talking more about and being more outraged against about other things that politicians do, like being Epstein clients or whatever, starting supporting wars where for bombing innocent children in Palestine or wherever, stuff like that. But it's like of course, people talk about it, but not as much. Like everybody was saying something bad about her. It's like I don't say, I'm not saying I support her actions or anything, but at least well, it's not mutually exclusive necessarily. That that maybe she is also some pederast, like most politicians in the Western world nowadays. I'm pretty sure are. But still, it's I'd rather have silly politicians like this than truly evil ones. That's my point. But people, it's easy to point fingers at somebody like this instead of like actually doing something to fix the tyrannical situation. It's sort of like it feels like the crabs in a bucket mentality. Because and especially like then I saw this post somebody made. So this is just from some Mongolian underwater basket weaving forum. So of course, take it with a few grains of salt whether this is an accurate description, but it's something worth thinking about. The Maori have been flagged as a target by the international media and globalist agenda pushers for two main reasons. The Maori ruined the COVID vaccine push. Our government wanted to make COVID vaccine mandatory throughout New Zealand. The only thing that stopped them was the Maori. They couldn't push the vaccine on Maori, the vast majority of vaccine refusers, without being labeled as racists. If not for the Maori, New Zealand would have zero unvaxxed. The government was absolutely going to force even kids to have the vax, and after they had succeeded, they would have used New Zealand's successful mission as a president to do the same thing to you. The Maori have prevented mass immigration of Muslims and Africans to New Zealand. This one is the big one. If not for Maori blocking mass immigration at every turn, then New Zealand would already have a minimum of 2 million African and Muslim refugees, quote unquote. That is how many refugees New Zealand's two major political parties have tried to bring here, and it has been the Maori who have blocked those efforts. The only reason New Zealand doesn't have Sharia no go zones and regular Muslim riots like the UK and even Australia is because of the Maori. This is why the global media is in lockstep shitting on the Maori, and this is the entire reason why the current pro mass immigration government is revisiting the 1975 treaty principles in the first place. It makes sense to me. They are sort of ethno nationalistic people, like, and they're only this sort of sentiment is only allowed to the people who support the ideology that you're not supposed to mention on Twitch. So yeah, I don't know, maybe it means something. But anyways, let's move on to the next story. So Infowars is possibly sold to the Onion, but there's some discrepancy and stuff, so I don't know if the deal is finalized or what. Or anyway, so this guy, he's supposedly the CEO of the Onion. The Onion is some supposed um satirical news site, like, make fun news or something, but I don't recall hearing any actual, fun stuff from them. Unlike the Bee, they, at least the Bee sometimes has some, fun articles and stories, but I've only heard the claim that the Onion is supposed to be funny, but I've yet to see any evidence of it. So anyways, he said that because the Infowars, because of the Sandy Hook trial stuff, it was sold to the highest bidder, and they supposedly won the bid. But some people are saying that they didn't actually, they weren't the highest bidder, that there was some shenanigans. The Onion CEO explains Infowars purchase amid Alex Jones's claims about auction. So yeah, they won the auction supposedly, and the satirical news site we won the bid for Infowars on Thursday at Jones's bankruptcy auction, along with the Connecticut Sandy Hook families of victims. Jones previously said the massacre was a hoax. Um, where is the So yeah, Jones also claimed the presiding judge admitted the auction was not real, and there are going to be ongoing criminal investigations for mishandling the bids and stuff. Yeah. So yeah, he recently claimed that the auction for his Infowars site was changed from a regular auction to a secret auction 2 days before it occurred. He also said that the highest bidders were prevented from submitting offers so that a lower bid could be accepted. Yeah, so company tied to Alex Jones disputes the Onion's purchase of the Infowars. Um, in the morning, First United American Cause Limited liability company that runs Jones's online supplement store filed an emergency motion to disqualify the winning bid of the Onion's parent company, Global Tetrahedron. This sounds uh, like, tetragrammaton, like Yahweh, that sort of stuff. Anyway, so they wanted to halt the purchase of the Infowars media empire and other assets. And the filing alleged that the bankruptcy trustee improperly colluded with Connecticut families who won nearly $1.5 billion in legal judgments against Jones after he called the 2012 Sandy Hook school shooting a hoax. Um, yeah. So, anyways, we'll see what's gonna happen with this. That personally, that's not my main concern here. Like whether the Onion gets the Infowars or not. And yeah, here Alex Jones says that the apparent conspiracy to rig the Infowars auction now under criminal investigation as Infowars is restored to Alex Jones. Okay. Um, yeah, the Onion is an inside job. Yeah, here it talks about the Onion. Well, this is all the news, I believe. But I wanna talk about Sandy Hook first. You know, the shooting that is the reason why Alex Jones has to pay 1.5 billion dollars, because it was an alleged shooting in February 2012 in Newport, whatever, no, Newtown, I think. Anyways, and but I remember back in the day, like YouTube was full of videos and documentaries criticizing the official narrative of Sandy Hook. There were a bunch of people calling it a hoax and stuff, and pointing out that there were quite a few irregularities to it. And I'm just wondering why is Alex Jones the only one who got sued over it? Why not those other people? Because well, it's the obvious conclusion is that they wanted to silence Alex Jones. However, like especially because my recollection, correct me if I'm wrong, but my recollection is that initially Alex Jones sided with these other people, saying that there was something suspicious about Sandy Hook, but he later recanted, like pretty soon after. He said that no, yeah, it is as they say or something, because a bunch of people said that it was a hoax. They claimed that nobody actually died in the event and so forth. And if they are, if that's not true, why didn't those people get sued? Why only Alex Jones? Especially, like, if you see something and your reaction is, this seems like bullshit, I don't believe it, and then later you say, like, wait, I guess it's true. Like, why can you be sued for it? Especially, like, the amount of money Alex Jones was forced to pay is ridiculous. So, and some people have said that this is Alex Jones is part of the operation, that he's sort of that he's controlled the position and all that stuff, and that he went along with it because I don't know, but it's just sus all the way, everything about it. But for me, this encapsulates
And
Sandy Hook.
I
This
think
is one of the fathers whose child was supposedly killed, and this was like a day after the shooting, I believe. And just look at the way he behaves.
looks like the family is there, and they're getting ready to make to come to the microphone. So we'll listen in. Okay. So my name's Robbie Parker.
Yeah. So the way it looks like to me and many other people is that he's like an because at first he's joking and smiling, and then suddenly he's like an actor getting into character and being like, "Oh, I'm so sad." So I don't know what went on with his head. Like, maybe he's just a psychopath and he actually didn't feel bad for his murdered child, and but he understood that maybe he should act sad. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't really know. um but stuff like this make people suspicious, and like they demolished the school really soon after the event, And I watched a few of these documentaries, like this one, and then Foundering. He's a piano guy on Twitter, and he had this mega thread. I I didn't go through all of this evidence here, but there is. I did watch a couple of documentaries about it just recently to refresh my memory. And so yeah, anyways, there were pictures taken shortly before the shooting, and they show, like, there was like mildew on the walls, and wooden stairs that were really like um, rotten and stuff. And it's questionable whether school was even um, like open, like whether it was actually in use or had been in years. And then it of course was bulldozed soon after, so you couldn't examine it. And like, the paramedics, they supposedly pronounced the children dead while their bodies were still at the school. They weren't rushed into the hospital or anything like that. And I think the parents weren't even allowed to see the bodies of their children. And there's like bunch of these. I recommend you look at the documentaries and stuff. But it's like, uh, if this sounds outlandish to you, that's just because you probably haven't paid attention to it, because this happened over 10 years ago. So, but I remember paying attention to it, and I still don't know what exactly happened, but I can say with absolute certainty there were irregularities. And it's you shouldn't demonize people for pointing out the irregularities. Oh yeah, and like, I think it was the FBI crime statistics. According to them, there were no murders in Newtown in 2012. So what is the FBI lying or somebody else? Like, what does that mean then? Uh, but like, because a lot of people, they don't wanna look at things like Archcast, Arch, formerly the YouTuber formerly known as or Arch Warhammer. And it's crazy that people like him, who is mostly just about pop culture and nerd gaming stuff, but he's talking about Alex Jones, because I remember back in the day he was the crazy conspiracy theorist king and stuff. But anyway, so he talked about the issue of Infowars being sold to the Onion, and he said that yeah, that Alex Jones probably did um, slander the parents by saying it was a hoax or something, and that that he was wrong, but it's just that the penalty was excessive. But like, I asked, did Arch actually look at any of the evidence? Like, is it fair to say that Alex Jones, and especially he wasn't the only one or the first one probably to point out the irregularities in Sandy Hook? But let's move on to the next story. We still got a couple of stories left. So yeah, a small story suggesting a war. Pentagon has lost. They have their huge part of their budget is unaccounted for, and it might herald war, like a big one. So the Pentagon misplaced 2.446 trillion dollars. For the seventh year in a row, the Pentagon has failed its financial audit, unable to account for 60% of its 4.1 trillion in assets. Yes, that's a staggering 2.46 trillion unaccounted for. If a private citizen failed even a few IRS audits, they'd likely face hefty fines and possible jail time for tax evasion. Yet, despite repeated failures, the Department of Defense still receives its full for 824 billion annual budget, conducted by independent auditors and overseen by the DoD Inspector General. These audits consisting of of 178 million and conducted by 1,700 auditors. Sources Hill Gao. I don't know. It's Gao. And yeah, here's just article. Pentagon fails audit can't fully account for 824 billion dollars. And you know what? Why this is especially interesting, because back in the day in 2001, on September 10th, Donald Rumsfeld, the defense minister at the time, um, he he admitted, September 10th, 1 day before 9/11, that he said that 2.3 trillion dollars couldn't be accounted for from the Pentagon's budget. And then supposedly, the next day, Pentagon, among other places, was struck, um, losing the evidence for the money. I'm not sure about this fact, whether it's fact or claim or speculation or whatever, that the files uh, somehow relating to this information was in the section of Pentagon that was destroyed. But anyway, so yeah, some people are saying that this. I remember this is so convenient. Yeah, Agent Double hurts. Yep. So yeah, some people are thinking maybe this means that there's gonna be another big war, something bad is gonna happen, and maybe this. Yeah, I guess like just thinking about it, like if you're a very powerful state entity and you are planning for a war, and of course you want to prepare for it before it's officially gonna happen, then you're gonna need a lot of money for it. So this is one way to get around that problem. So it makes sense. Like it's unfortunate for humanity that if these things happen, but like yeah. So let's just keep your eyes peeled, and don't join the military in your country, because they just want to use you as cannon fodder, and then the people who caused the problem are gonna reap the benefits if you just go there and die in the war. And there's still a couple of stories. So, horror of horrors, Miss Universe is a blonde woman. Yeah, so Denmark's Victoria Kjærvelvig wins Miss Universe 2024. Yeah, so it's an actual biological woman, um, who is white, Caucasian, European, and this is like big news in 2024. It's not a woman with a feminine penis or anything like that, or it's not a black woman. Too much makeup. Yeah, she doesn't look that pretty, at least not in this picture. It's interesting that this is a noteworthy affair in current year. But yeah, she's definitely not the most beautiful woman in the universe. Like she's not ugly, but and also other people have pointed out in past about how arrogant it is to call Miss Universe. What about the Glaborgians or the Jigligris? And their beauty standards are completely different to humans. Like this is very uh, Terra-centric. They're ignoring the rest of the known universe and the unknown universe as well, by declaring human as the most beautiful person in the whole universe. Okay, one more story, which is sort of, I don't know, more like a funny thing in some sense. There are some sexy elder things out there. Oh, don't you know it? The Cube of Sodom in Saudi Arabia. I named it that because it's, I don't know, it seemed appropriate. So Saudi disgraced Islam with this. This is the opening of Riyadh's entertainment season in Saudi Arabia this year. They had a model of Holy Kaaba where they displayed images of singers and dancers. So yeah, it does remind me of the Kaaba stone in the cube around the stone in Mecca or whatever, and then they're just having pop artists singing there and stuff. And I'm not Muslim or anything, but it is. I find it offensive. Like that just goes to show that not even Islamic countries are immune to this sort of subversion. And there's community now. This is not a representation of Kaaba, just a normal show screen that is a cube. You can find similar products from different companies, such as I don't find this very okay. Yeah. Opinion or speculation, and I don't know. Yeah, because it does remind me of the or like even if it's not supposed to refer to the black cube of Kaaba, it's it's like the black cube of Saturn or whatever, and I don't really know what the black cube of Saturn is supposed to be, but it's supposedly some ancient occult thing. So it's like and even the black's cube of Kaaba might be a reference to the black stone of Saturn or whatever, but black cube of Saturn, whatever that is supposed to be. But this can, like, even if it's not intended as blasphemous, it's understandable that people can interpret it as blasphemous, which is and especially like the good thing about Islam is that they are more willing to express their displeasure if they find something blasphemous, because nowadays in West and Christianity, they are a bit too subdued in expressing their displeasure against perceived blasphemy. Like I do think there should be some wiggle room. If you see something that you find a little bit of blasphemous, you shouldn't maybe start a holy war right up, immediately. Like maybe it's not as bad as you first see, as you first feel upon seeing it. But then again, like if something is truly blasphemous, maybe you should have a look at their their ultimate intentions. Like maybe they do have malicious intent behind them. But anyways, that's the last story for tonight. I guess short summary. Oh yes, ADL and Steam. So yeah, ADL still. Oh yeah, damn! I almost forgot. I have to remind you. ADL was founded because whenever, let's say 100 years ago, I don't remember the exact year. 100 years ago, Leo Frank, this guy who just happens to be Jewish, um, supposedly raped and murdered a woman, and then he tried to pin it on a black guy, but then the KKK didn't believe him. They sided with the black guy against the Jewish guy, and then they hanged the Jewish guy. So this is the kind of organization we have with the ADL. Like they protect rapist and murderer, and they're not. I don't know if in current year you can say that they actually protect people like that, but it's not much better what they are doing, and they mostly seem to be defaming people nowadays. And of course, yeah, and I cannot say certain word on Twitch. Zisraeli. That's the word I'm gonna use from now on, because I cannot say the word relating to the political ideology. And of course, Europe is a tyrannical shithole, and that is gotten there because Europeans did nothing for decades, just sitting on their asses and smelling their own farts, and now it's abject tyranny. Aigu, yeah, that's so yeah. At least the Maori in New Zealand. At least they are trying to do something to protect their own interests. I don't know how successful it will be. You know, it is a bit cringe to do the Haka dance in the parliament, but if it works, I can't blame them for it. But that's it for tonight. I'm Adventure Argonaut. Thank you for watching and all that. Blah, toodles, toodaloo.